Recording is on.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Bat Community Call for Tuesday, January 14th, 2025. Hope you all are doing well and have been having a good week. We've been, a lot going on. I feel like the first week of the year was, slow, and now all these things are crammed into the second and third week. So we'll hope things are going well. And I see Jenny's here with the slide, so I will throw it over to Jenny to lead the way on that.
All right, everybody. I hope you're all having a great week so far. Let's dive right in to the community updates. Okay, so starting off with our Bat Spaces schedule for the week. So this Friday, our show will be titled How Culture Shapes Communities That Last. And our guest panelists will be Kyoto, KPR, Legacy Network, and Rune Mine. And next week, we have a very exciting topic. A little bit scary for me, but exciting. That's Friday, January the 24th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. The topic is AGI, taking over by 2030. Oof, scary. Just got the heebies. With Wham, Planet Mojo, Venture Mind, and Scale Network. And last week, we had Creation and Prediction, Crafting Tomorrow with Bitmask, Etherlink, Metropolis World, and Lanka.io. The recording for that one is available on the Attention Token Twitter if you want to go check that out. Okay, moving on. On last week's call, we covered Bat community and ambassador accomplishments and milestones from 2024. So I thought we could carve out a couple of minutes this week to just talk about some goals for the Bat community and Bat ambassadors in 2025. And we've based these goals on the achievements and milestones hit over the last year. So we tried to set goals that are specific enough, realistic, yet still ambitious. So these are some. Of course, this is not exhaustive, but this is a jumping off point for 2025. So let's start with Bat ambassadors. So we want to try to launch the Brave Ads referral program for Bat ambassadors with a pilot with at least 3 active ambassadors by Q3. This is an item that was covered in our Bat Roadmap Update 3.0. If you want to go check that out. So we're going to be scoping that out over the next couple of quarters and hopefully launching that by Q3. We will aim to conduct 50 ambassador-led Bat workshops in regions with established representation. We will aim to host 3 meetups per quarter in untapped regions. For example, Korea, Germany, Netherlands. There are many other regions where we do not currently have that ambassador representation, but we will be seeking and sourcing new talent from those regions specifically with Brave Ads and through word of mouth and other methods. We will also do more when it comes to amplifying ambassador content via our official Bat and Brave channels. So we've been doing a lot of sort of organic amplification on X and on these calls and other ways, but we will also be utilizing Brave Ads to that end in 2025. Localized growth. So we will aim to create 20 culturally tailored content pieces in key regions. Our ambassadors will be able to assist us with that effort. We want to incentivize educational content translation into 10 languages. We already have the beginnings of a pipeline sort of established for our localization work. We're working with Brave's localization task force, in particular, Andy on our localization team. But we'll have that pipeline fully established and ready by end of Q1. With regards to expanding partnerships in utility, we will aim to collaborate with 15 Web3 brands and platforms to drive Bat utility and adoption, engage 5 high-profile creators for Bat-themed campaigns, host 3 exclusive Web3 partner events with perks for Bat holders, at least 3, hopefully more. We also have a section here for Guano utility growth. Boost. Sorry, I can't. I'm just going to hop back. I'm just monologuing here, so I'm just going to make sure there's no hands. Okay, we're good. So for Guano, boost liquidity in Guano Bat Soul pools by 50%. Launch Guano staking pools and 3 new campaigns. For example, discounts, NFT perks. expand Guana's utility via partnerships with Web3 platforms and Solana. And then with regards to content and collaboration, Guillermo's project, Echo NFT Magazine, we will aim to release 4 quarterly issues. We're on track to do that. We did 3 last year. I think we can definitely make it to 4 this year with 8 special editions. We're totally on track for that. Grow readership by 50K via cross promotion. We already have over 100,000 subscribers on our drip channel. So I think increasing by another 50K will be a piece of cake. We plan to spotlight Brave creator success stories 1 a month and develop an educational video series around that. We also want to expand use cases for BAT through partnerships and creative campaigns that tie into Echo specifically. And in terms of content that the community will put out, we want to leverage AI for short form content creation and automation, produce weekly video shorts with BAT updates, and also monthly long form videos. These could be tutorials, walkthroughs, really anything that the community wants or deems important at that time, we will work to put into a video. We also want to double our community YouTube channel subscriber count to 20K. Which I think is very doable. And we will continue to publish weekly BAT community call summaries, and we will add at least 5 new languages by the end of the year. And to summarize this, we have some key metrics for success. So we're aiming for 25% year-over-year growth in BAT ambassadors reach, 10% growth in BAT holders through partnerships and reward campaigns, 10 ambassador-led meetups per quarter with 20% happening in new regions, and 20 to 50% channel growth on BAT Telegram, YouTube, X, Reddit, and other socials. Any questions or comments? That was a lot.
That was good.
Awesome. Okay, if not, we can move on. Okay, next. I'm sure most of you are aware of the wildfires that are currently blazing and devastating the Los Angeles area. These events are near and dear to my heart as I live in Los Angeles for about half of the year. And I personally have many friends and loved ones who have lost homes to the fires so far, and they continue to burn. So BAT's longtime partner, The Giving Block, is fundraising crypto for this cause. And they have made it really easy for anyone who wants to donate to wildfire relief efforts. On their website, they've actually grouped nonprofits that are actively aiding LA wildfire relief on one page. And the causes include, there are many, but the Los Angeles Fire Department Foundation, Hope for Paws, the Westside Food Bank, and many, many others. You can see some of them here on the page. And you can donate that to any of these causes, as well as to the hundreds of other causes that the Giving Block is partnered with, straight from their site. So you can just choose BAT from the list of options on the donation screen when you go to make a donation. Yeah, like I said, we've been partnered with the Giving Block for several years. We've done some ad campaigns with them. We worked with them on Giving Tuesday. They're a really awesome foundation. And like I said, they support hundreds of causes, maybe even thousands at this point. And you can support any of the causes that they partnered with BAT. So yeah, I'll end here. I hope to see an end to these fires soon, and definitely check out the Giving Block for this specific cause and also in general. That's it for me. I'll hand it off to Battern, although I heard a hand go up. So yeah, C-Ray, go ahead.
Yeah, Jenny, on the Giving Block there, are we going to be able to add that to the blog or anything, or is it just kind of staying our secret here overall?
It's certainly not a secret. We've been partnered with them for several years, and it's pretty well. It's somewhat known that they support BAT donations, but we can definitely make some more noise about it and remind people in the community. And we will tweet about it as well. Yeah, I actually just visited their site today to see if they were doing anything for the LA wildfire relief, and that's when I saw that they had this whole page. So I will be tweeting about it later, and we'll definitely put out some reminders for the community. Thanks, C-Ray. Battern, over to you.
Bring the OBS art.
Is Battern in the room with us?
His microphone. He's working on his microphone.
Okay. Well, we can skip.
He doesn't know you're supposed to do it on like two different like devices, so you can manage one on the thing and then do it from the other. It's okay, Byron. You'll learn.
Can you hear me now? Oh,
Oh
can you hear me
dear.
now?
R.I.P. to everyone's eardrums.
Okay, sorry about that.
Classic.
Yeah, I did have it on two different devices, as you could hear. So this week in Bat Ambassadors, Belladone helped me set up the OBS and record and stream the call, but as we can see, that did not go too successfully. Moonbeam has been heading the charge of getting spaces going again, with a few guests lined up, including Abstract Hot Dogs. Like, there's a bunch of stuff going on at Abstract now, so we're going to get involved over there. Like, we used to have, like, we're trying to bring back, like, the Friday ones. We used to have just a bit more casual, getting to know other communities. Like, I wish I'd get paid more attention when we were doing all the stuff on all the spaces with Solana people back in, like, 2021. That would have been some good alpha. Revision's been pushing an ad sale over the line. We've been pushing updates across Telegram, X, Reddit, and Discord simultaneously. Because before we used to focus mostly on X and Discord. It's definitely been effective because I found a few more poker players that I didn't recognize the names of turning up. We welcomed Muskin from Hack CBS into the Ambassador program as well, which is good. And tomorrow I'm presenting with Stan at the CUA Innovation Hub. It's at a university. I've got like an hour time slot to give them the whole lowdown on Bat and Brave. So I'm going to make the new 2024 slide deck and smash it. Cheers, everyone. Sorry for the fuss.
Thank you, Battern. Godson.
Yay. Hello, what's up? Hey, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Godson. I have your Brave in Africa update for this week. So yes, sir, Stan spotted. I just wanted to do like a year in review, just to go over like the stuff we did last year, just because I didn't get the chance to do that last week because I was hosting the stream. But man, we did just actually going over it. I didn't even realize just how much we did. I couldn't fit it all into one page like I usually do, so I figured I'll just list a couple. We did over 20 events / meetups throughout the year. We kind of kicked it off sometime in like June, July. We started we shifted into high gear and just kind of had people doing all kinds of stuff. We had for example, we had the Microsoft Community Campus that Exodus did. We had the Lisk meetup that Alfred did. We had the Innovate Hub that Stan did. We had a Cease Day that Adamak did. NFT Africa, WebJS, all kinds of stuff. We also were able to actually do the university tour like we wanted to. We visited over 10 universities. We did over 10 university events because Stan would go back to the same university multiple times. For example, he went to ZTech University 3 times last year. He also went to the University of Nairobi 3 times last year. He went to the Catholic University of Africa. Exodus was at the Kuth University. Adamak was at the University of Ekiti, and so on and so forth. There are so many more universities that I didn't even put in the list, but we were able to do a very serious tour, especially with the Kiboko DAO collab that we did. Stan was able to go to so many universities, and so did Exodus and Shidi as well. We also had 6 major collabs as well. I wanted to point out we had a collaboration with eSafari, which was kind of big. We didn't really get to explore the full effect of that meetup, of that collaboration, because it was a little bit rushed. But everybody knows eSafari is the biggest Ethereum event in the continent. We had people from all over the place. I believe Vitalik was not there last year, but he was there the year before. We also had I said, the Kiboko Dao collaboration as well, which took us to so many universities, and Stan was able to give like a couple speeches, and he was able to introduce so many students to the the browser and the self custody program and everything. So it was all like fine and good. We also had like the
Yeah,
Cyberchain
Godson.
collaboration. What's that?
Hey, I thought you were gonna say like we didn't get to actually check out the actual Safari, but then you said you actually get to do all the things you're gonna do with Safari or East
Yeah, no,
Safari.
I mean he did go on safari. I that was the week that I first came to Nigeria, so I wasn't able to like actually like show you guys like all the pictures and videos and stuff. But Stan went on safari with East Safari.
Oh, that's
They
crazy.
were
That's
like,
awesome.
yeah, it was a whole like month of events. He wasn't there for the whole month. He was only there for like a couple days, but um yeah, it was a very big one, but I just didn't get the chance to like showcase it in full effect, because that was like the first time that I came back to Nigeria for like preparations for the burial and stuff. But yeah, just to like round it up, we did a we had a collaboration with Cyberchain. Cyberchain is like the biggest event for crypto and Web3 in Nigeria. Alfred was there representing. We had a bunch of other collaborations. Peter DAO was like a global collaboration. So we also had people like we had like multiple like simultaneous events from that collaboration. So we had uh, Alfred go to like a Pizza DAO meetup in Nigeria. We had Stan go to a Pizza DAO meetup in Kenya, and then we also had Shidi go to a Pizza DAO meetup in Uganda. So it was like a very cool thing. So I just want to take the time to just say a big shout out to all the African ambassadors, and just say thank you for being a great team. I guess we'll be even better going into 2025.
Sorry, sorry. Amazing. Thank you, Godson. And thank you to all of our awesome, awesome African ambassadors. You put in such amazing work this year. We couldn't be happier or more proud. Okay, Drew, handing it over to you.
All right. Yep. So we just finished one quest on the bat.bandit or yeah, bat.bandit.network site where people could go in and follow the bat accounts and the Guano accounts, and that one's for Guano. So the reward should be sent out here in the next day or so. So if you did that, you can look for those here soon. And then we'll have some more quests coming. I think we're going to try and give some Guana to the self-custody rewards users, people that are earning on chain there. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. So we'll of course share that and stuff when it comes out, but that'll be hopefully in the next week or so. And then yeah, it looks like we got Airplop for the Brave NFT holders. So if you hold NFT, you should see something there in the coming week or so. Airplop, LOL. Uh, and so, but if you have it listed, you would want to delist that if you have it listed on like one of the exchanges or something. But most of us probably just holding them in our wallets, I'd assume. If you're not, reveal yourself. No, I'm just kidding. But and then, yeah, it looks like the rewards went out this last week, I believe, in over 12,000 bat holders on Solana, many from the self custody rewards that's been rolling out and that's continuing to roll out. out. Of course, there's the form to fill out, and we'll get you enrolled there. And I don't know if you have any updates on that, Jenny, but I think last week or so you updated those that had been added. So maybe if you just filled it out in the last week or so, you haven't been added. And then we got more projects that we're working on coming. And yeah, like Batter mentioned, abstract hot dogs, and we did a whitelist thing for oh, my daughter just got home and the dog's going crazy. Whitelist for the another abstract project that's pretty highly sought after, the moon sheep. So and I think we're looking at getting some more, I guess whitelist slots are back in, so we'll have maybe some more stuff coming up. So be on the lookout for that. And then of course the normal trivia and things like that. So thanks.
Awesome. Thanks, Drew. Did I shop? Sorry, everyone. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I put in the chat, but I'll mention here as well that we'll have another self-custody sign-up update next week. Okay, Paula, take it away.
Thank you, Jenny. Hi, everyone. Hope you're doing well today. So as additional community updates, I wanted to share that we are working on our engagement on X from the Bad Latam account, like localizing posts from the main account and replying and things like that. But also we'll do regular posts and be more active. And something I think it's great is to make like polls, like some polls, like the picture right here. I feel like people love those, so we'll keep track of that. And of course we'll do the same from the other regional accounts in Latam with help from with the ambassadors. And in the next couple of slides, I'll cover the second and third point. Thank you. So I wanted to remind everyone that you can find the written summaries from the weekly BAT community calls that are made and published by our BAT ambassador, Aranyaka. Like, you can find the articles pinned on his X profile, just in case you missed them or you prefer to read instead of listen to the recordings. And also some other ambassadors help us translate these, and we publish them in Notion. So feel free to check them out, and we'll continue to publish as they become available. And of course, here's a weekly break shield with some awesome posts on X. And this time we have highlighted posts from Kais, which I think it's amazing that he decided to try Brave thanks to Keith. So thank you and welcome. We also have That One Angry Dude, Ghost Traveler, Seth Pedro, and Cookie. So shout out to them. And yeah, I think that's all from us today. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Great updates, sound effects included. And love that the goals too from everybody presented. And I think it's super cool. And it's great too to hear about the quests and everything that are getting teed up there. Yeah, and kind of also just kind of an FYI too. Last night we launched another meme coin pilot with Guano around the Batcave. That the Guano coin guys put together. So basically, like they actually shipped out the ability for folks to load the cave and lock up some bat on Solana and earn Guano with in the process. And so keep your eyes peeled. There should be a notification ads out for that too. But super cool to see, like, and again, just kind of like I know they're probably listening, but just awesome to see, like, you know, those folks like launch the coin and then actually like kind of like follow through on getting something out there that people could do this with, because it's just really cool to see. And yeah, we'll see where it all goes, but really awesome. And then yeah, we've been continuing to meet with different ecosystems. Just an update on that front. We're getting an official program together to get dApps on board. So that we can start to throw some logos on the roadmap deliverables and show the progress to the community on dApps that are starting to like plan to integrate BAT into their dApps and different utility plays there. And then also we're working on getting the BAT website updated to match the roadmap and kind of the narrative from that, so it's kind of more cohesive. Yeah, like a lot of stuff going on to kind of kick off the new year. We're also, Christopher's working with the research team on getting more of the boomerang work done too, and is getting some of the rewards 3.0 work shipped out as well. So lots of stuff going on, but yeah, I'll open it up for questions. Folks have anything you want to talk about, questions about things, or just even kind of general discussion, whatever. Yep, hand up from C-Rape.
Yeah, I actually had a quick question. Bravebat.info. Do you know if we're going to have that up and running or something equivalent by Brave anytime soon?
Yeah, there's some conversation about getting, figuring out like next steps on that front, because it'd be really good to do, and I'd love to have it so that we're, have it more reliable too. So yeah, I mean, like, and appreciate folks that brought it to our attention too. But yeah, we gotta update that, get something a little more stable. We can have visibility and transparency into that.
All right. Yeah, no, I appreciate, because I had just tested it, still trying to do some sign in or whatever. So anybody that was using it to find creators or have other details, that's just like MIA at the moment.
Yeah, and I think it's a good opportunity too, because we've talked about other metrics and things like that we want to make more transparent, like on these calls. And I think this is kind of helping to, reapproach that discussion again, and get some better, transparency metrics up too. So yeah, so appreciate you and other folks too that brought that to our attention, because yeah, it's something we need to we can improve on for sure. Bows, what's up, Bows? Happy New Year, Bows.
Happy New Year's. How are you?
How are you doing, man?
Good. I caught up a little bit on sleep over the
Excellent.
last few weeks, just not last night, but so I'm doing pretty good.
Nice.
Things have calmed down slightly for me, so I'm enjoying that as well.
Excellent. What you want
Hope
to talk
your
about?
New Year's was good as well.
Yeah, it was chill. Low key. Tried to unplug for a little bit, and got a couple days in there. It was nice.
Nice. We had someone joined the Discord recently who was trying out Brave and was coming over from Opera GX, and they were kind of asking about how to import all their stuff, because I guess I didn't even realize that Opera GX was Chromium based. Maybe it's not, but anyway, they were saying that unlike with Chrome, like if you click the import button, that makes it somewhat automated to do some of the transition over. It doesn't really work for Opera GX. Is that something we can get implemented?
Yeah,
They had to manually take their bookmarks and other stuff and download the files and stuff and move it over.
That's a great call out. Like, I wasn't aware that it wasn't as smooth on Opera GX. Other folks might be, but that was one I hadn't heard much on either. I'm making a note of it now to kind of surface it up to the team. But I don't know if I see Duck and Cribble Resistance have hands up too. I don't know if it's related to this or not, but if it is, feel free to chime in. Otherwise, I can have Cribble Resistance jump in first after that.
Yes, so I just wanted to clarify, because so the issue that they were having was Opera GX wasn't one of the standard, import from this browser, which they were okay with because it's a lesser used browser, but it also wasn't auto detecting when they clicked the Chromium, because I've not imported my settings for a long time, so I'm just going by what they said. They said there was an option to import from Chrome, import from different options, but then there was also an import from other Chromium browser, and they were saying that it wasn't auto detecting. And when they translated the page, I guess so they could take a screenshot to share it in with support or in the server, the sort of other Chromium option disappeared, and they had to manually export the settings using the HTML and then manually import the settings using that HTML. So yeah, they were okay with it. They understood. They were just a bit confused as to why it wasn't working.
That sounds painful though. Like, yeah, no, this is a great. I'm glad you guys are bringing this up because I wasn't, and it might have just been my own ignorance, but I wasn't as aware of these Opera specific hiccups people were running into, and we could definitely surface them up to the team because I have been seeing too, like more in some of the threads that are posts that Keith and others have been really yapping about Brave on. I've been seeing more and more folks from Opera talking about wanting to use Brave. So it's a good thing you guys brought it up so that we can make sure that stuff is getting. Oh, I see Keith is here too. Keith is mentioned. You know,
I just see anime PFPs talking about Brave, and I'm like, okay, Keith's making his rounds. You know,
I see that the Legion of Keith. You know, that's kind of how like you know, Keith is legioning the anime folks in. Pretty rad, but. Yeah, no, that's a great point. And Duck, thank you so much for the color there. I took a note down. I'm going to send it to the team right after the call, and hopefully we can get that squared away. All right, Cripple Resistance, you have a hand up. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. Doing well.
What are we doing to continue to improve the image search? Because I still see some complaints about the image search.
Yeah, it's a great question. I know the search team is working on it. I don't have like specific action. Maybe I can get somebody from search to come on and give a proper update on this, or if anybody from the company knows more about progress being made on it than I do, to speak to it a little more. Great. But I know that it has come up on initiatives called the folks are working on it. But I don't have like specific, like, you know, we expect by this day it'll be a lot better kind of thing. I think it's, you know, anyway, I don't know, C-Ray, if you have additional point on that or color or whatever, feel free.
I didn't have a point on his question necessarily, but once I heard about Brave Search, it did have a question, if I can get into that.
Yeah, go for it.
So right now, when I just went to search.brave, of course, at that landing page, there is the little like widget thing that comes up, and it recommends like what's the weather near me, CES 2025 highlights, etc. Lots of people, including myself, despise that. Now, we've used the block elements to be able to block this, but Brave keeps changing it ever so often to where it comes back, to where you constantly have to add new rules. And there's no option in settings anywhere to disable this. Is there a way we can get rid of it, or at least add more options so people can feel comfortable with it gone instead of it coming back like it is?
Yeah, so you're talking about, so I go to search.brave.com and it says like on mine right now, it says like NFL schedule, what games are coming out in 2025, best to-do list apps, or will TikTok be banned, those items?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, like one, I didn't realize people despise that. So that's some good feedback. I will put a note to the search team to follow in the call, like to see what they can do on that front. Because yeah, I didn't realize people were going as far as like, you know, trying to block elements and all that on that either.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm not going to say a significant amount by any means, but I probably had at least 10 or 20 topics opened on asking how to get rid of it, plus then all the different replies on there.
Okay.
So yeah.
People blocking elements to hide the trending searches. Okay, that's super helpful. Thank you on that. Yeah, I didn't realize it people didn't like it that much. That's good feedback. I know. I wonder, like, yeah. Anyway, okay, that's interesting. Okay.
Oh yeah, and I think the other part is because it's such random topics. You know, it's not anything that relates like to me or anything else. You know, and so yeah.
Oh, okay, that's helpful. So, like, if let's say, like hypothetically, like those were more relevant to like either what you've been browsing or querying about, you might get more value out of that.
Possibly, yes. At least for me, but you know, again, I think the big thing is just having a toggle for it if they would.
Yeah, that's helpful. And like when other people are you know, complaining about it too, like what are is it mostly around the fact that they're too random, or are there other reasons why people don't like it that you're seeing?
Off the top of my head, I think it's just they don't like the looks of it. They just want to be able to go there, type in their search phrase, and go. They don't want anything recommended. They see it more also like an AI thing, and so then it, you know, whatever, you know, or even think of it as like advertisements or something, you know.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I totally can see why. I can hear them speaking through you, C Ray, and I totally get what you mean. People like there's just some people that want stuff super minimal, right? Like, and I'm going to search for something specific. I don't want to know what other people are searching about, that kind of thing. Makes sense. Cool. That's great. Great feedback. Thanks, C Ray. Bows, you got a hand up.
Yeah, I was wondering, could we get some, you know how like the block element stuff works, where you can add like customs for that? Like, could we get something where like to report like, for instance, like pop-ups or like the cookie message to report like those instances just by like right-clicking and selecting an option for it? Just because like I know I report them sometimes, but it's like, you know, I'm not like kind of the typical user, but you know, I have to like go into someone's DMs and message them and be like, hey, here's one where that slips through. I was just like wondering if there would be like a easier way we could implement that.
You mean so like if something like having an easier way to report those things when they come up, basically?
Yeah, like whenever like something slips through the tracker. I mean, I guess you wouldn't necessarily want to do it for ads because I know people don't want to like accidentally misclick on and go follow them. But you know, at least for like those like cookie pops up, so it'd be kind of nice if we could like just have like a click and then want to drop down as like report or something. I don't know. Maybe that's like could be like something hidden behind flags because like I get maybe like the regular user what, but
no, I think that makes sense. Like you know, so like let's say that you get one of those cookie consent things that people hate, and our thing isn't blocking it. You have the ability, like if you right click the context menu, then there's like an option kind of where, you know, those other options are where it says, hey, report an issue or something like that. And then you can, you know, from that list, there's things that are there like, you know, ad break slipping through, or, you know, cookie consent thing not showing up, or web compatibility, something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool. No, that's helpful. That's helpful. Yeah, I think I'll send that one in too. That's awesome. Cookie consents or ad breakage. Cool. Mini Cat. What's up, Mini Cat? Oh, I don't know if you're I think you're muted. If maybe try unmuting if you were trying to say something.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. How's it going?
Sorry about that.
No worries.
So it's been a couple of years since I tuned in, and I apologize if some of this has been covered. But I'm sort of curious. You know, I've been using the browser for years. I think it's an unbelievable product, so much better than the more commercial products. But over the last couple of years, it seems like adoption rates have declined some. And I'm curious what the company's learned about, you know, sort of what the ceiling things that you have to break through to get to a more viral adoption rate, and what kind of things you might have on the development timeline that might reignite that.
Yeah, it's a great question. Like, and I think like, well, first I think we're close to 80 million monthly active users, and a lot of you know, the focus has been also on like, okay, monthly actives are a cool metric, you know, to kind of have out there, but also like, are your daily actives coming back? Because, you know, if you're not focusing on the daily actives, then, you know, it's a much stronger metric to look at in general. And so, yeah, like those numbers have been going up too. Like I think, you know, these things, there are certain things that have been kind of unexpected that have played really well with growth. I think it's a mix of things. It's a lot of it is like when we initially put stuff out there, we're putting things out there that we had heard small issues about that ended up becoming, you know, much more experience. For example, like you know, just the ability to watch YouTube without ads, right? Like, and then the background playback stuff there, and then as you know, YouTube starts to dogpile more ads on, and then before you know it, they start to also increase the prices on premium and stuff at probably the worst time to do it, when people don't have a ton of income, and then you just say, hey, just go use Brave, right? Like, and we saw a lot of people jumping in on that. Like, I think a lot of it is our word of mouth has always been our strongest tool, like for growth, and some of it like is different areas of the world we grow differently, but we also saw like a lot of growth on mobile in different parts of the world where Brave's benefits from privacy also had benefits in things like data consumption and other stuff like that that people are more concerned about. But I think, you know, back to the question, I think like we're leaning in more and more and more on kind of like as these big tech companies continue to like kind of get more and more walled gardened and harden in their stances, like the fact that, you know, we are seeing just legitimate demand for what we're doing. I think also like adding Brave search has been like huge to what we're doing, especially those two pieces together. One thing we started to see a lot of was that people, a lot more mainstream types of users don't really have a distinction between like in their thought process of like, this is my browser or this is my search engine. They tended to like think of them as being the same thing. And a lot of times people reference them as kind of interchangeable. And so adding Brave search on has been huge. And then once you add it on, like getting it improved to a point where people will just use that, like has been another thing. So I think that, you know, there's a lot of like momentum going into this year. A lot more, we're just seeing it like developers, lead users, you know, people that are out there saying, hey, look, like, you know, these types of sites just work better in Brave. Like, you know, improvement wise, there's always improvement, right? Like we can, you know, work on performance and making things more streamlined. I think a lot of it's too is just like, what are we hearing the wins as from the community? Because those are the people that are like breaking it down into words that are getting it to grow, and how much of that can we translate into how we're talking about Brave more generally is huge. I think also like just kind of, you know, antitrust stuff has been like additional win in our sales, because like having search and the browser, we're super relevant to those conversations. And in certain areas in Europe especially, like we've seen that, you know, some of these remedies that have gone out have added up helping us grow a lot. But you know, realistically, I think, you know, the angle is still to kind of get a lot of those lead users, get a lot of the people that are going to help to champion us out there more broadly, and then just like continue to message and stay at the front edge of everything, whether that's like, you know, how people can use AI with the browser, how people can just have a clean browser, and even like, you know, on the crypto side too, like, you know, how can we make these things easier for more people to use? It's more broadly too. I mean, like, you know, a lot of companies have been like hit with growth constraints and stuff, like because of what's happening more broadly. But I think that, you know, with what we've been doing, there's been a lot of reorienting, a lot of streamlining, a lot of like looking at how things have been going, and where we can, you know, focus more attention on issues that users are talking about a lot more, and try and get ahead of it too. And more importantly too, like a lot of discussions around like how can we just make things easier and more useful for people with a lot of these things. So there's so much hype driving, you know, the narratives out there these days. Like everybody and their brother is talking about AI stuff. Everybody's talking about like all these like different things that are happening here or there, but like a lot of the focus from the team is like, how can we actually like make stuff that's useful with these new technologies in the browser, and keep that going forward. I know it's a really vague answer to your question, and also thanks for joining after it's been a while. Maybe if there's anything like you want me to kind of drill down into on that, happy to.
So I'm sort of curious if you've heard back from people that have tried Brave and decided not to make it their daily go-to browser, or you hear from I'm just trying to think what part of this humongous audience is sort of not interested because you don't offer something that they get somewhere else.
It's fantastic. It's a great question too. And I think like a lot of this is really trying to find that feedback, like those users that are gone in the first week. Our growth team has been doing stuff like before we didn't have like a really good A/B testing implementation, so that we couldn't really like have a way of like kind of scientifically looking and seeing like, okay, if we have cohort A of users and we present things for the first week in a certain way, how many of them are dropping off? How many of them are not, like, and how many of them are sticking around compared to what we're doing now? A lot of that stuff's been kind of at play while we're also doing stuff like what you're mentioning too, whether it's like exit surveys that we've been looking at implementing, or just like trying to just be more proactive in talking to new users when we see them jumping on. Like, for example, like Keith and a bunch of other folks managed to go out and get a bunch of people to say, hey, I'm going to go try Brave. And one thing I always try to do whenever I see people responding positive to those is say, hey, look, like DMs are open. Really love to hear any feedback you've got, like good, bad, or ugly, or whatever, just because when it's such an opportunity when somebody just connects over, because we hear a lot of feedback from people who have come and gone and then come back again, right? And that's great feedback too. And we always hear a lot of feedback from our daily driver users, like, oh, that's great too. But like, what is that thing? And initially, like, we had our own theories internally, and people tried to test those things out. But it's different things for different people too. And so it's kind of a matter of listening for the gold among all that, and then trying to kind of figure out what are the things that we're hearing across enough of these different types of users that are repeatedly to like try and experiment and dig in and optimize on those things and kind of like get that retention up. It's also a different story between desktop and mobile users too. And with Brave, one of the things that's been interesting here is that like it's always been a pretty even split between desktop and mobile users. So it's a matter of kind of balancing that part out too.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, thanks.
One of the things that's kind of interesting about what we're doing here is that like we see like there's no shortage of like very passionate people that really like what we're doing, and some of the things that they like love or hate are also other things. The thing they hate might be something that another very passionate set of users in Brave loves about Brave. So it's always kind of like, okay, like what are the things where we're hearing that common thread between the two of those groups or three of those groups or whatever? Because that's kind of part of the challenge of like having a browser, right? Is that you've got to you want to build something that's kind of cutting edge, but you want to build something that your neighbor can also use too. Because if it's too like, if it's too Rube Goldberg-esque or whatever, you're not going to be able to like win over your neighbor, right? So it's kind of this balancing act. And browser is also something people like forget about once they're in there. If you're doing it right, they're not always thinking about what is browser I'm using. They're thinking about what am I trying to do with my life,
Well, I think the product's great. I don't know that the budget is there, but what I don't see is sort of traditional advertising type of thing. And I could buy that early in the life cycle when maybe the feature set isn't as robust as the brand name browsers. But you guys have everything you need, and it just seems to me like the ecosystem would be way better off with a little more viral growth. And I just was curious to hear your guys' thoughts on what the impediments to that are.
Yeah, no, I think viral growth is key, right? Like, I think a lot of that, the other thing that, you can go buy ads, right? Like ads are great for getting the brand name out there and all of that. But like earned media is like way more effective in converting people. Like here's an example, right? So we advertised on Joe Rogan's podcast for like, maybe almost 2 years, at least over a year. And so, lots of consistent ads running on there. Like Joe would have certain guests on his podcast that would just bring up Brave organically. And we would see like bigger growth from those few organic earned media mentions than what we saw like from our own advertising on his podcast, which is like, there's something with what we're trying to do where, like, if you can get the right people to mention it or use it or people observe it, like, that's there. And it requires like a little bit of a different angle and getting in the door with people that are going to be kind of culturally bringing that up. But it's just something we've also noticed, right? Like, because we've spent money on advertising before. Like, advertising is great, but it's not really like a silver bullet either, especially with something like a browser, where browsers are like buying a car. Like, you're bringing over, like, what people were talking about, just a few minutes ago, like small thing, like importing you have to bring all your stuff with you, if you want them to convert and stay there every day. And, it is a little bit different of a product. But that said, I think like more earned media is going to be killer. We're working on ways where we can get this in front of those types of personalities more, because it carries a lot of weight. But yeah, I don't think that, like, we've run a lot of advertising. Like, it hasn't been huge advertising, like Super Bowl stuff, but also like the ROI from Super Bowl ads is garbage. Like, and people that tell you otherwise are just like, there are unicorns that benefit well from that type of thing. You're talking multiple millions of dollars that we could be spending on, like, actually like building a competitive product, right? So like, it's a balancing act between like not flushing marketing dollars down the toilet and like doing as much as you can to get the word out there. And the answer to it is just that it's a bit of a mixed strategy, I think, on that front. I don't know. Duck, you got a hand up.
I did not mean to have my hand up. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. My bad, Duck. But no, I think Minicat, those are good questions. And yeah, I do think we could be growing more virally. And, I think that there's more work to be done there too, for sure. And I appreciate you sharing the sentiment and the feedback. And yeah, don't be shy. Like,
And Luke,
keep going.
Luke, yeah, I wanted to say too, like, I've kind of looked at the growth over the last couple of years. Yeah, definitely slowed down. I think 22, 23. But it seems to have kind of picked up again. Like, granted, not like viral, like crazy gangbusters, but it seems like it's picking up. So hopefully that continues. I don't know what the marketing plan is on that, but at least it seems to be that we're moving in the right direction again. So
Yeah, I think going from, what was it, like, it was right around like when they started flipping up insurance. Not insurance. Oh my gosh. Interest rates, right? Like, the whole kind of all these marketing area initiatives started to tighten up. And yeah, like, we drew down a lot of the spend we were having on advertising. But the reality is that, like, there is a truth to advertising where, like, the more, especially on performance-based advertising, which is where we've seen a lot of like success with, the more it's weird, like, the more you spend, the less effective it can get. Like, there's like a whole rabbit hole I could go down for an hour about this. But I think, really, like, ads are cool to do to get brand awareness out there, but getting like, we want to get in front of more and more people that are influencing other people, and getting that word out there. And it's a bit of a balance there too. But yeah, I don't think, like, we could go throw things on stadiums or whatever, but yeah, one, we don't have the budget for that right now. Like, and two, like, even if we did, probably not the most effective way of doing that at this time. But we definitely need to do more. Drew, you got a hand up.
Yeah, so the other day, Brendan retweeted that one guy's tweet about like an AI agent in the browser, and I'm completely done when it comes to AI. So, and I know you're talking about it and maybe adding, how it would be good in Brave or using Bat. And can you explain like what that would look like, or maybe in an ideal world? Do you know what I'm talking about, or is it a couple days ago?
So I think, like, and this was one of those cool things about this hackathon that Brendan's also talked about, that we had in London back in September. So like, there's a lot of like meta, like, and hype around agentic AI right now. And what the guy had tweeted, I think he does DevRel for Google. He was working on a project that used client side, so in the browser, used AI to do agentic things. So it could be things like helping you reorganize certain tabs by topic, or helping you to schedule things, or helping you to do mundane tasks, or even like on the crypto side, like I want to DCA into Bitcoin when it does this and that, right? Like in letting having it's more than just getting summaries for stuff, or more than just like a prompt in the browser, but actually having like the AI like working with the client on things that are useful for you, like that are task based, or like you could have agents working on with agents in the browser. And it's a super interesting area right now. But I think browsers are one of those spaces where there's actually like some surface area to like really try some things out there. And then there's also the other side of it where like you don't want to have things go haywire either. So it's kind of a balance. But I think like how many times do you hear about like, oh, the barriers of adoption for crypto is it's just so hard to onboard and well, I mean, like if you had a agentic AI that could help you kind of like either walk through the process or just sit there with you and figure out where you're stumbling and provide help, to that solution, or even do it for you, like that would be awesome. Like or like I want to get what movie that can I take my 10-year-old or 8-year-old to that's within 2 miles of my house right now, like in having an assistant actually do that stuff. We're not that far out from that being a reality. You're starting to see more and more on the shopping side, more and more on things that are just like tasks, like getting beyond that little prompt window and into stuff that's more useful.
Yeah. And I know I saw, I think it was Augustine, is that his name? Argentina. That showed like a little video clip of like some of the stuff they were working on, like where it can kind of do like background tasks and stuff in the browser and stuff. And I just have a hard time or like really seeing kind of where, I mean, I can see certain things, but also other times I'm like, have a hard time, imagining it coming, or where it all goes.
Yeah, well, and it's like it's one of those things where kind of people have a mental model for like what a browser does, right? And it is like an everyday thing, and it's a utility, right? But like there are ways. I mean, like that's what's so cool about working for a browser is that like it is this kind of rectangular thing, but also there's so much that happens behind the screen or behind the scenes in a browser that people don't realize, and there's all these different elements to it. You could actually have an agent working with those to make little things easier, or help to augment what you're doing. Like it can be like a whole new level of like whether it's productivity or just usefulness. I don't know. I feel like we're
Yeah.
in this
Yeah.
space,
No,
we're
it
in this
does
space
sound cool. Yeah.
well, and there's this side of it where it's like, okay, the user side, right? And then on the other end of it, and I've had a bunch of these guests on the podcast who are like, it's almost like you feel like, okay, the CEOs of all these, companies are trying to say, okay, what are we doing with AI? What do we do with it yet? And so you're seeing all these little like bespoke, AI things getting crammed into everywhere too. So it's like, okay, what's actually useful? Like, what can we actually do that'd be super cool? And then on the back end of that, like what could be tied with a rewards model with that, with BAT, or could BAT be used as a way to kind of like for reputation rating or something like that on tasks, or you pay with BAT for things or whatever. Like I think super interesting area, and I don't know, we're in a position where we're in the position for it, so it's pretty cool to see where it
Yeah.
goes. I know
No,
Brendan's
yeah,
really
definitely.
hot on right too.
Yeah, definitely. It could be some exciting stuff for sure. Like, and yeah, browser's a great place actually for it.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Well, we are just about at time. So yeah, huge thanks to everybody for joining today. We'll be back 1 week from today. Same bad time, same bad channel. Till then, see you all online. Have a great one.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
See you guys.
Bye, squad.
Bye bye.